Welcome to Reset to Healthier Relationships, Sunday night at 9. I am your host, Coach Glenda, here with course manager and co-host Rufus Carpenter. As most of you already know, Rufus and I have created this forum where you can discuss trials and triumphs in past and present relationships. We encourage everyone to speak their truth and talk as much or as little as they would like. And just a few housekeeping rules. Before we get started, please mute your devices until you are ready to speak to avoid any unnecessary background noise, as well as let's be respectful and allow everyone to speak their truth and get their comments in. Mr. Carpenter.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Rufus Carpenter, like she said. Tonight is going to be a great night. The subject matter tonight is something that everybody should know a lot about. And you realizing that this container is like a sisterhood, where you might have 20, like you and 20 of your girlfriends in your living room and you relax, you sit back, maybe you might have a glass or two of wine, and you're talking about relationship issues. The relationship issues normally we have a topic every week, and this week we do have a topic. But anytime we have Sunday night at 9, you can bring out questions, relationship questions, concerns, challenges, as well as breakthroughs. And we'll be happy to share them with the audience and stuff, because you don't know, the sister beside you may be going through some of the same stuff that you already mastered and conquered and broke through. So you're giving your truth, and it helps you get it off your chest, and you feel a lot better, because sometimes just hearing the release gives you power, and plus it gives a sister a chance to realize that if you can do it, she can do it too. My background is a little different than most. My background started as a little child in Virginia, 14 kids in a 3-bedroom house. We never had enough. Man, it's with 14 kids back when I was a kid, it's rough. So one weekend I went out and I did a lot of chores around the neighborhood. I ran errands, I cut grass, I chopped wood. I did some everything, even went as far as on the side of the highway and picking up soda bottles to turn in. That weekend I made $35 of change. I was so happy to get it. Took it to my mom, and my mom was so happy to get the money, and she was shocked that I raised that much money. So she kissed me on my forehead, Rufus, I love you. That changed my life. From that point on, I learned what's called a helper's high. I always wanted to be a part of the success of the organization, the family, the unit, or partnership. I've always realized I want to do my part, and that's what the night is about. Also about helping and giving your balance share. Okay, now background didn't stop there. Went into the military. One of my jobs in the military was race and relationship leader. We had the responsibility of going to different units and dealing with any race or relationship issue. And I'd be the first person on the scene. And I had to do what's called an intake form. In an intake form, I would determine what level of responsibility or resources we had to throw at solving that problem. So my background in relationship training is very, very diverse. So I'm happy to be here tonight. And also, lastly, if any questions for males come up, I'm happy to pitch in and answer that question. Glenda?
All right, thank you so much for that, Mr. Carpenter. Tonight's topic is reciprocity in love. Give a little to get a little. How mutual effort strengthens relationships. Now, love isn't just a feeling, it's a flow, a continuous giving and receiving that nourishes a relationship. Think of it like a beautiful dance. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow, but both partners are moving in sync, committed to making it work. Reciprocity in love means that both people invest effort, affection, patience, and understanding. When you show up emotionally and practically, and your partner does too, trust deepens. Emotional safety blooms and intimacy becomes stronger. Now, we're going to talk on each of these concepts more in depth as we go along, but I just wanted to start off by listing them out. We're going to hit mutual effort, emotional deposits, communication as always, and small acts, big impact. So, Mr. Carpenter,
You
you want
know,
to start off?
yes, I will. When you talk about reciprocity, you got to real. It's like she said. It's like a dance. You know, you're in a flow. You're moving. You're giving. You're taking. You know, some people might call it like the Bible, unequally yoked or equally yoked. You know, you two are a rhythm, and it's almost a golden rule. Doing to others that you have them doing to you, especially if you're in a relationship, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a friendship, or whether it's just dating, or whatever the situation is. As a matter of fact, if you're building up to a strong relationship with somebody, that first runway when you first start with somebody, this is when you start watching those patterns. This is when you start looking to see if reciprocity is a part of your relationship. Because if you giving and all they doing is receiving, that's an imbalance. And an imbalance after a while creates friction. It creates a problem. It creates too much weight to carry. So that's why it's very important that you understand the terminology of the night and understand that you have to be the person that to understand that early on. And that's when she said the mutual efforts, the emotional deposits, and the communication and the small acts, and all of these things, that's when they come up in that first stage of being with somebody. Because if you've been with them 3 or 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, 30 years, it's a wrap. If you ain't figured it out by now, you just accept it. So, so if you're in that relationship and it's been that way all this time, and you after the night you realize it's unbalanced, the best thing we can do is help you work through some of those balance issues. But tonight we want to open your eyes and give you a chance to look inside of not just your relationship, because we got 4 case studies where we're going to talk about the case studies and we're going to see how they apply. But look inside your friendships. Sometimes your friendships, you might have a girlfriend or a guy friend that's not a romantic relationship, but a relationship where you guys just kick it around and have fun or travel to do things together. That also needs to have some kind of reciprocity. Because if you always driving somewhere, you and your girlfriend or you and your guy friend, y'all go somewhere and you always driving and they never offer gas or never offer their car or like that, then something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Something wrong. That's a simple thing. And if they always borrowing from you, but you can't never borrow from them. When you need something, you know you can't go to them, so you just stuck. You know, these are the things we're talking about tonight, Glenda.
All right. Well, I'm going to kick it off with our first example for tonight, supporting each other's dreams. Tasha's husband wanted to start a podcast. Even though Tasha wasn't really into the topic, she helped him set up a recording space. Later, when she decided to return to school, he juggled the kids' bedtime routines without a second thought. Their support of each other's dreams strengthened their bond.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Have any of us been through those situations where you had a partner that just pitched right in without you even had to say it? And at the end of the day, you realize, man, that was a major help. And you know, some of us, when that happens, we get little small tokens of appreciation for them to say, you know, I really needed you when you stepped in. That was awesome. Thank you. Or we have been the one that stepped in. You know, let's say you're in a household and it's someone's responsibility to do X, Y, Z. And for some reason, they're a little behind schedule and they haven't done X, Y, Z. And you go and do X, Y, Z for them. So when they come around for the X, Y, Z, they say, wow, it's already done.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a blessing. What a blessing. Wow. You know, somebody thought enough to help you out. Because when you get in a relationship, especially if you've been in more than a couple of years, it's routine. And sometimes those routines are good routines. Sometimes those routines are something that you might need to nudge somebody. You might do some start, stop, and continue, or you might do some communication at a higher level. So, but when you actually have those supportive, when you can support a person's dream, that's something. Because if you're a dream supporter and not a dream killer, man, it makes a major difference.
It does.
But think about it. If you home or you with your inside your relationship and the person beside you, if they're helping you do with your dream and they're helping you, you already got a leg up on society. You already got a leg up on the world. You already got a leg up on the outside because you getting that nourishment and that support right at home. They'll tell you, baby, you can do this. Go ahead. I got your back. Go out there. Because when they get out there, the world sometimes isn't kind. When you come up with a new idea, the world is the first person to beat that new idea back. Because anytime you come up with a new idea, you have to fight the norm. You have to fight what's already out there in order for your new idea to flourish. And sometimes that's a hard nut to crack. So if you have a new idea or dreams, you need all the support you can at home. And it starts with the person closest to you. And if that's you, be the support, please.
All right. Did anyone want to share where you were the other party's support or you came through as their backup plan? Uh-oh.
Hey, Roger. I'm sorry. Hey, Mr. Kingdom, I heard your light lit up. Were you gonna say something? Or are you just getting settled in?
Just getting settled in.
Okay, awesome. Glad to have you here tonight. If there's something you want to share about this is good because sometimes we need way forward. Because sometimes when you've done all you're responsible for, sometimes you sit back and relax. Whew, I finished all mine. But sometimes you have to look around and say, I finished mine. Let me pitching over here, pitching over there. Because we all get tired. We all have something to do. This day and time, it's normally a two family income. Everybody's working, everybody's invested in something, whether it's school or whether it's taking care of the children or outside ventures.
Right.
So in this day and time, anything you can do to help your spouse, your significant other, your friends, your family members is highly appreciated. Okay.
All right. So I'm going to move on to our second example. Simple gestures matter. Nicole noticed her boyfriend Dion was stressed from work. She left a small note on his car windshield that said, "You got this, King." Dion felt so loved. He cooked her favorite meal that weekend. Little things echoed loudly between them.
I know when you first saw that, somebody said, "That's so corny." I know the first thing came to your mind. That's so corny, but it's sweet. It is sweet. Think about it. It is sweet, especially if that's something you don't normally do.
Right.
Something you don't normally do. That's sweet. My king, think about it. Or my queen, it reversed, my queen. If you would do something and the person would say, "Wow," it would be, it means something. It means something. Yes. Small things like that. That's what we call those emotional deposits. You'll be surprised how those emotional deposits help. And that's like putting money in the bank. Those emotional deposits, because you don't know when you guys are going to have a rough patch in your relationships, because relationships are ebb and flow, up and down. And there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. Even your best day, look out. There's something around the corner. So when you do these little things like that, you're doing what's called emotional deposits. You're giving your partner something to hang their head on, something to say, "Oh, wow, I got to keep her, man. My woman or my man is the best." They see me. I'm noticed. They got me. Makes a difference. Makes a difference.
Yeah, that reminds me of the song by Ella May, "The Little Things." I don't know if anybody has heard that song, but that, just those small little gestures here and there throughout the week or throughout the day, they make a huge difference in someone's life. All right, so we on our example number 3, apologizing.
No, example number 2 is what they call brownie points.
Oh.
Yes.
That's what they call brownie points. Just the little things that
Yeah.
matters. Because when you do little things like that, you do it from the heart, which means
Mhm.
it touches somebody's heart and make them want to do for you. Whether it's the male or the female, that's what it does. It's some little things. It's the little words you say.
Exactly.
Brother, if I got a question. When somebody do those things for you, anybody can answer, anybody can chime in whenever you want to. When somebody do these little things for you, how does it make you feel inside? Is it a big hit right away, or is something you got to think about, or something you got to sit down and come back to them later? How does it affect you? When somebody do something out like little things like this, like to say to put that note on the window, you're my king. You got this king.
One word. One word.
Go ahead.
Ah,
That's your feeling. Whoa, what a feeling. Oh, that's it. Oh, hey, Andre, how you doing? You snuck in, huh?
Okay, Andre put something in the comments that some people may feel value while others may feel as if the person is doing too much. I've heard and seen that too.
Yeah, or they're
that's so
trying to
true.
hide something.
That is so true.
That's what I
That
hear.
is
They're
so
trying to
true.
hide something. What are you trying to hide? What
No,
you cover up?
it's not that you're hiding something. What a lot of people feel about that is as if, let me see, they do it with intentions.
Mhm.
Sometimes people do stuff like that with intentions.
Okay.
They want something in return.
Mhm, a
You know,
hidden
that's
thing.
why I made the comment I did about when you do something like that from the heart, it touches the heart.
Mhm,
You know what I mean? And then when you have that good communications I always speak about, when somebody do those little things, that's when it really means as much, to opposed to no expectations or nothing. And then you feel in your heart to be obligated to do other things for that person who did the little things. That's how that works. But when you don't have communication and somebody does stuff like that, okay, what they want, what they need, uh-oh, your expectations start arousing, you know?
mhm.
But when you got the right communication, them little things pop up, you be like, oh, and females be like, oh, that's so sweet. Oh, he gonna get something. I mean, you know, he's gonna do something right. You feel me? So that's how that works. Communication. That's the soul heart toucher.
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
you got me smiling. I'm glad loving is not a competition. I am glad of that because you don't have to one up somebody. You can actually let your heart and be who you are really inside. Because a lot of this stuff has just been authentic. Being who you really are. If you're really a loving, giving person, it'll show.
Right.
It'll show through everything you do. And that's
Yeah, no, like,
go ahead. Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you first. Go ahead.
Well, the whole thing is it boils down to that communication. Like I said, 'cause if you got the proper communication, when somebody do them little things, you can't help but to be like, oh, or be like Eddie Murphy and Raw. Okay, okay, you whip. You know, them little things, they build up. And just like I said a while back when I was speaking to the Mexican, I told him, hey, go to the mall, even though you don't like going to the mall. Then she feel obligated to go with you somewhere and
Mhm.
vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's them little things. Them little things build up the big things. Give her a Hershey kiss every now and then. You ain't got to give her a physical kiss. Give her a Hershey kiss or something.
That's
If
right.
you know she like chocolate.
In this
Yeah.
day and time, you don't have to hide your feelings anymore. It used to be a time you had to hide who you loved or who you thought about. You don't want nobody to know. You had to do all that. This day, you love who you want to love. You love who you want to love. You can show your feelings. You can put your emotions out there. Nobody gonna look at you funny. You love who you love now, and
But
it shouldn't be uncomfortable to love anymore. Now, back in the day, it was very uncomfortable because you don't want nobody to think that you was a sob or you was weak or this or that. Now you
uh,
love. Matter of fact, man, it's manly, it's strong being to love now.
but you got to be careful though. You got to be careful.
What you mean?
Females, they cry because they cry. Oh, I want affection. I want somebody to give me that time and all that. But then when they get with that right person,
Mm-hmm.
who give them that from the true love of their heart, they give it to them. Damn, he's smothering me. Man, get a life. Give me a break. Go do something. Hey, you weren't crying that shit when I started.
All right, ladies. I know y'all ain't gonna let him have that. Y'all ladies, y'all not gonna let him have that, are you? Come on, ladies.
Appreciate it, Andre. You feel me, Andre. You done been there too. I saw he's spot on. I see it. I saw your
Ladies,
comment.
ladies, ladies, ladies.
What they do. Females cry for that. They want that affection. They want that lovey-dovey. And then when a man start giving it to them, damn, you smothering me. Get a life. You know, give me a break. You don't be saying that when I first started. That's what
Ladies.
got me.
They just wasn't you that if they come back and say that, that means they wasn't used to getting that in the beginning from anybody else. So when they actually got what they asked for and wanted, it was like, oh wow, it was more
This
so
ain't what I wanted.
overwhelming. Well, I won't say it wasn't what they wanted, it was just a little overwhelming for them.
No, that ain't what they wanted. They thought they wanted. Just like they be thinking that grass green on the other side. You
Ladies.
understand? Let me tell you something. Let me say this. Let me say this. And I'm speaking from experience because, like I said, I speak from my life.
Okay.
I was with a female. I was married for 18 and a half years.
Mhm.
And over half of that time, every day,
Aaron.
I tell her every day how much I love her, how much I'm in love with her. And you know
Okay.
what her response was to me? What you trying to do? Convince yourself you in love with me? And guess what I did?
What?
I stopped saying it.
Oh.
I stopped. And guess what happened? I got her a job at a travel center. Them truckers came in there and started telling her the same damn thing I said. And
Mhm.
that made her think that grass was greener and she divorced me. I
Well,
said, okay.
all right, Mr. Kingdom. I was gonna leave you. I was gonna turn this over to girls. I was gonna leave you alone. I won't get involved. But you just gave me an opening when you said, and this is just talking, Mr. Kingdom. I'm not trying to throw shade and like that. But think about it, when you were telling her that you loved her, that she was beautiful and all this and all that, that was from your heart, right?
Yes, it was. And guess what? Guess what? Along with telling her,
Uh-huh.
I was giving her them brownie points. I was doing the little, she'd say, okay, cowtails, the little candy. She
Mm-hmm.
loved the little cowtail candy, right? And I know every time we stop and she see them, she get them. So guess what I did?
What?
What?
I go buy a whole big ass box of them.
Okay.
We used to stop. She used to like the type two cracklers, the chickaroons. Every
Mhm.
time we stopped somewhere, she wanted them. So guess what I did? I started buying them by the damn case. I do the little things. When you want something, I go above and beyond and get it for you. And guess what? It was never enough.
Wait, hold on, Mr. Kingdom. Mr. Kingdom, let's back up a little bit. Let's back up a little bit because right here is where I wanna put the kickstand down for a minute. Sometimes when people say something out of their mouth, not all the time they're saying what they really mean. When your wife probably said that, hey, she didn't want you to say what you're trying to do, maybe that was her way of communication. Maybe there was a barrier in her communication because some people don't know how to communicate what's really in their heart and what's on their mind. Some
Mhm.
people just don't know how
Well,
to do
guess
that.
what? Well,
Wait,
I'm gonna tell you what.
let
I'm
me
gonna tell
finish
you
this
what
thing.
happened.
Let me finish before you tell me what happened. Let me finish this and now turn it back over to you. Because if a person get used to something and they're so used to, even though they might not say they like it, but tell you they like it, but they get used to it, they get used to it. When it stops, they miss it. And when they miss it, they got to find it somewhere. And if you're not going to provide what you always provide, you got them used to it and you stop, that's a void.
But that's the thing. Here's the situation.
Mm-hmm.
The difference was we never had the true communication because I was the one in love with her. She was to me my soul tie. Where on the other side, she never was in love with me half of the way I was with her. So therefore, that's what made the difference. I
Mhm.
gave. If she said she wanted a coach and I couldn't afford a coach purse, I go buy a coach purse, a look-alike, a knockoff. I did everything in my power to give this woman everything that I could. And if I couldn't get it today, I guarantee before the month out, she had it. You understand? I gave above and beyond. It was always one sided. Always.
And that's the key to it all.
And when it's one-sided, you ain't got a leg to stand on.
Very much.
That's why I keep preaching and always talking. It's all about communication. Because I've been there,
Reciprocity.
done that, and I know that one-sided stuff ain't going to work. When you get, like
Reciprocity.
with me right now, we bringing equal to the table. We what they call equally yoked. I promise you. And I ain't peaches and cream all the time now. But because of the communication, I can go to sleep at night with a smile.
All right now.
You
Audience,
understand?
when do you find this out? When do you find out whether you guys are going to be equally yoked or the reciprocity going to be there? What level of relationship do you find that out in?
Well, I answer mine since ain't nobody saying that. I found mine out at the beginning.
Right. Exactly.
Because at the beginning is when she said what she had, I said what I had, I said what I got, she said what she got, and she said what she want, I say what I want. And we was like, damn, we like two peas in a pod. You know, and that goes back to what I told y'all. We at the age in life now where we know what we want in life. If it don't equally match up with the other person, shit, you might well just keep it moving.
Yep.
True.
Because you in for a failure. It'll work for a minute because you also caught up in the luster part of it till it don't work out in the end because you blinded.
Right.
Everybody say love is blind. Love ain't blind. That shit wide open. Sorry.
Okay. Anyone else? What part of the relationship, in your relationship, when you find these things out, or how do you find these things out, or what are some key indicators that you would know this? Yes, ma'am.
Sharon put in the comment in the chat box in the beginning as well.
Awesome, awesome. And this is where that runway they're talking about is so very important, because if it's almost as if you go through a relationship 3-4 years and you see the red flags and you never address them, and you in that relationship 3 or 4 years, you kind of like own them a little bit. You kind of like you tell the person it's okay. You're giving that okay sign. You know, that day when you get fed up and say enough's enough, you never was the person I wanted. It's too late. It's too late.
That's why you stop it before it begins. If it's something that you don't see and something you don't see a future with, you don't try to dig into it just because one part of it's good.
Right.
You don't do that.
And the reason why
you cut your losses then. And Rufus, you keep talking about this doggone runway. You got to understand something about a runway. You got different size planes out there, bro.
Correct.
Some runways are way longer than the other.
Correct.
So when you get on a runway, you know what I'm saying? It might take me dropping on my head 5 or 6 times before I hit the end of the runway where I can get in the air. Some people, they can take off in a couple of yards.
And see, the reason why I say the runway, because a lot of people at this age, we're on this call, we're anywhere from 30 to 65 years old. And a lot of people think at our age, we're not dating, but our age, we're dating a lot. Our age is the most, it's the most frequent dating and most rising dating period there are, our age. So we're dating. So we're going on our first date, second date, third date, or continually dating. So we're the ones that need to understand this stuff. That's why it's so important that we have these conversations now. And that's when that reciprocity is a key, because if you date somebody and they show you who they are and you believe who they are and you still keep going forward, the problem may not be them. That communication issue may be on your side of the equation. So that's why I bring that out, because we're dating, we're active, we're young. And this time of year, spring, you know, we all feel kind of energetic. We're out there, you know, life is easy. We're having a great time. And that's why this is so important. Anybody?
Andre. Hold on, I want to speak to Andre. Andre, you put in the chat how long to stay on that runway. Well, I'm gonna tell you how long to stay on the runway, bruh. You get on that runway when you go and start taxiing, and then you make that final approach and get on the runway to take off. When you see shit ain't right, you need to turn that back down that runway and go backwards and go park your plane. You don't need to go into it. You need to stop it when it starts.
Right.
That's how long you be on that runway. Because if you get on that runway and you go for the ride because this part good, the bedroom good, or whatever part is good, and you figure, okay, it's gonna get better in the end, that end ain't gonna never get there, bro. You're gonna be stuck on the runway forever because you ain't gonna be happy. And then it's gonna build up where that pot and that cup gonna run over and you're gonna explode. You
I
want to get
think for
off that
me,
runway.
I think for me, mostly my problem is I'm usually the one in chill mode. And then there's always like, yo, you do know we're in a relationship, right? And I'm like, wait, when did that happen?
I understand. I got
Okay,
it.
but look, let me say this to you, Andre. Let me say this to you. All right, from my experience, okay, it happens that way because you're giving them brownie points and stuff, but the communication ain't really there yet. But you giving them brownie points, and she's feeding into the brownie points until you done got her in without you realizing what you did. Self-consciously, you don't reel that fish in. That's what happened. And then when you finally it hits you like that light come on, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I wasn't doing all that, but you was doing it unintentionally because of your heart. You understand what I'm saying? We do
I
stuff
got something to say.
unintentionally.
All right, go ahead,
I got
Gigi.
something to say. My thing is, as a dating Black female over 60, I guess at nothing. You can do anything you want. You can do all the niceties and all of the text messages, bring me roses and flowers. But if we don't sit down and have a conversation, there is no relationship. We're dating full on, nothing. You don't owe me nothing. I don't owe you anything. And that's just how I think about it.
Notice that key word you just said is dating. Dating. That's all you're doing. It's just enjoying each other's company. It's not a relationship. It's not a friendship. You're just dating. That's all that is. Because first of all, like you said, if you don't sit down one on one and have that deep conversation to build that communication, all you got is two people there enjoying the company as it is of that time.
And
There's nothing you can build off of it.
Mr. Kingdom, a lot of
Yes,
ladies are being trapped because they're sitting there, they're thinking, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that for
Right.
me. And
Right.
they have not sat down and had a conversation about what type of relationship do we have? Are we exclusive? And he can full on have another woman.
Yes.
but
And you
now
don't know.
that goes both ways as well because there's a lot of females
Yeah, and I do
have
agree. I do
intentions.
agree.
They have
But if
intentions.
if you don't have the conversation, you're just dating to get information.
That's all
And
I'm
that's all
telling you.
that's
I agree
dating
with
to
you.
get information.
I
That's
agree
it.
with you. It's two people sitting at a table enjoying the moment. That's all it is, enjoying the moment.
Let me just pause this conversation for a minute. Two things. One thing is Sharon kind of answered it kind of early on in her text. Sharon said not dating but doing research. I think is what she said. So she's researching. And Andre's second part. Andre's question was, how long do you stay in the runway until you get clarity? However it takes you to get clarity, whether it's conversation, whether it's wait and see, whether it's watching, or whatever boundaries or whatever mechanism you have until you get clarity. Because if you don't have clarity, you get out of the runway, you might get in trouble. All right, go ahead, guys. You can go back in the conversation now. I just want to get those two
To
things.
that, wait. Let me add to that word clarity. There's another long word that comes along with clarity, and it's called understanding.
Okay.
you can get clarity. You can see it plain as day. But sometimes we be naive as humans till we just don't
Mhm.
understand it. And that's when we become a fool about dating
Oh,
because we don't know.
okay. You just opened up another can of worms. You
Well,
just
that's all right. I like fishing.
when you said a fool, it's not when you become a fool, it's that we settle. Not so much a fool. I think we're settling. Some of us feel like we expire. We're perishable goods that we're going to expire in a matter of time. So some of us settle because of that.
It's
Where
not
I'm
that. Well, you
fine
got to
wine.
understand
I
now.
get better with time.
time, one at a time. Gigi first, and then Kingdom second. Go ahead, Gigi.
I'm fine wine. I get better with time.
Awesome, awesome.
But see, also, Gigi, let me tell you this, baby. It's nothing like a good glass of wine. That's fine. You understand? Because here's the
I do
situation.
understand. I
Here's the
do understand.
situation. We all adults and grown, and we know what we want. So we're not going
Exactly.
to sit there and settle. You understand? We're going to let ours
You're right.
marinate. We're going to let it marinate and get better for the next one. You stop it at the beginning when you don't see an ending.
So I guess you
Right.
And
guys
then you let
saying
it
you go.
marinate.
I guess y'all saying you go in a relationship with your eyes wide open, right? Not
Hell
wide
yeah.
shut.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
supposed
Yeah.
to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know what you want. So why go in there and start playing?
Okay.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. Now we grown folks, so we can talk.
Mm-hmm.
When you start dibbling dabbling, this one and that one, this one and that one,
Mhm.
okay? Each time you dibble and dabble, you get a piece of soul tie with you. You
Mhm.
understand? And when you start mixing all them soul ties and all these different personalities start coming involved, what do you think you're gonna end up? Bipolar ain't the word because bi mean two. You're gonna have so many damn personalities that you're gonna be twisted. You understand?
Mhm.
So with that being said, you know what you want in life. You don't want to be that twisted like Keith Sweat said. You want to be somebody whole.
Okay, that's why we have this container called Sunday Night at 9, where we can talk about some of this, so you don't have to get way up the road before you decide whether you on the right track or not. So you can look at some key indicators and see are you going in that direction that the other person is going in, because that's very very important. That's very important. All right,
Right.
where'd you stop at, 3 or 4, Glenda?
I was
Did you
getting
make
Three.
it
ready to
She
3?
start
going to the
three.
fourth one.
You
No, we
did?
didn't. No, we didn't do the third one. Apologizing first.
Yeah, we didn't do that one.
I'm sorry then. I thought you
No
said
problem.
three.
We together.
Yeah, I did, but I
Let's
never
do
went
that
into it.
and give everybody
Well,
a chance
I'm
to.
sorry. That's my fault. Then I cut you off. Then my
No, you
bad.
good.
Go ahead,
You
baby.
good. As a matter of fact,
That's what she said.
as a matter of fact,
That's what she
you
said.
just the example of it. You apologize first.
Mm.
Okay, example number 3, apologizing first. During the disagreement, Carmen realized she had misunderstood her girlfriend's tone over text. Instead of waiting for an apology, she reached out first, saying, I realized I jumped to conclusion. I'm sorry. This open-hearted move led to a deeper, more honest conversation.
Mm.
When I heard when you said that, that made me think of something somebody said a few minutes ago. I think Gigi said it. Gigi
Mhm.
said that. I think she said that the guys will not open up and won't tell you that what's going on. Because a lot
Mhm.
of times, a lot of guys, well, some people don't want to never say they're sorry or apologize because
Right,
they feel it's beneath them, or they feel like, hey, you got to have thicker skin or something like that. And the
right,
same time, the same kind of conversation that some guys will not have a open conversation, and that you can pin them down to what kind of relationship y'all in or going in, or what kind of relationship you guys are looking towards, because they want to keep it status quo. They don't want to get deeper. Where sometimes the one party may want to have a full-fledged relationship, with the other person may just want to hang out for a minute.
right.
And
That goes
I seen that a lot.
Mhm.
that goes back to communication. That situation right there. If you got the proper communication, that means that you are open-minded and you can see beyond. Okay. And when I say see beyond, we all can see within ourselves. So therefore, we up for criticism, regardless of what kind it is. And then with that being said, Rufus, we
Mhm.
also can see where, hey, maybe that person is right. So guess what? With the communication that you have and that friendship and that bond, you don't mind saying, look, hey, maybe I'm wrong. I apologize. So that's where that first apology come in at. If you don't have that communication and you're not open minded, hell no, you're gonna be right all the time. Damn, he think he know everything, Mr. Know It All. You understand? That's where that come in at.
There is something I want to throw out there that I think Andre hit on it a few minutes ago with his text he just put out. Um, and anybody seen the Seinfeld show? Seen Seinfeld?
I've seen
You
it.
familiar with Seinfeld TV series? And how it's always about nothing. It goes on, always about nothing. Some
Sound
relationships,
about like taxi.
yeah, but they're all about nothing. But some relationships are that way. But what's they got what called now these modern relationships now don't have any norms. It's what two people agree on. Because I think Andre said he's a hanging out kind of type. That's a lot of people in there. A lot of people don't want pressure. They want, hey, let's be in the middle of the road here. That's fine enough for me. I just want to hang out in the middle. And if you want to
But
hang out,
that's dating.
we hang out.
That's dating with that's the communication you got. Hey, look, at the beginning, that's that communication on that
Mm-hmm.
runway.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, you and I sitting down, we done met each other. Look, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not looking for no wifey. I'm not looking for nothing. I just like to have fun and hang out. I like to just go to the bar and sit down, have a drink, watch the flicks, not flicks, what the shows, the sports or whatever, depending on what bar you at or whatever. Or you might just want to somebody to hang with to go to the gym, somebody to hang with to go out to eat. You just want that companionship on that level. You're not looking for expectations, but that also deals with the same communication. If you a hangout person, that other person looking for somebody deep, then hey, you got a problem. That's a
Right.
cut it off at the beginning. It all
Well,
boils down
I
to
have a question.
communication.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
a question. Okay, you're saying that. So, do you sleep with all of them? Let's
Me
put that in the
personally,
ring.
hold on. Me
Do you
personally,
sleep with
hell
them?
no. I ain't sleeping
No,
with
you
neither
know
one
what
of
I'm
them.
saying? Okay. Some
No,
people
because
do,
if you're
and some
hanging,
people,
but see,
if you
that's that
hang in,
person.
that's that other part of it.
But okay, let's
Because
put it this way then. Let's add
some
that
people
in.
do.
We'll add that in.
And
That's
that's
what
I'm
they
not one
call
of those
cut
girls.
buddies.
I'm
essentially
not one of those girls. Yeah,
Kingdom, let Gigi get it all out, then you can take over. Go ahead, Gigi.
that's the other part of it because some women do. I'm not that girl. I do what I do, but some women, that's what they want. They don't want a relationship. They just want to be that girl to have fun, do whatever they do, and go on about their business.
With no strings attached. That's called a cut
But
buddy.
I do know what you're saying. But
But
that's the
that's
other side of
communicate.
it.
That goes back to the communication. If you communicate with me and I communicate with you, you understand? Then that's part of that communication. Hey, look, we can go hang. We can go and chill after we hang, do whatever we do, and no strings attached, and we good. But that's all comes back to communication and understanding of it.
But who wants that
That
type of relationship?
I
Who wants
hey,
don't.
that?
that a lot of them do though.
I
A
don't.
lot of
I
people
don't.
do. We don't. Heck
That's
no. We grown. We mature. We don't. We see
I
it.
don't
We
want
don't
that.
want it. But a
Well,
lot of people do.
guys, we can't judge anybody here. We can't judge anybody here. All we can say is that we know what we want for our own individual selves. Because when their relationship, this modern relationship thing now, if two people come together, they agree on what they're doing, that's their business. But all we're doing now is looking at all sides of the coin, and we're looking at what's a balanced relationship. A balanced relationship, reciprocity, is a balanced relationship where you give, both sides give. It's where both sides get something out of it. You get mutual support. It's not about keeping the score. It's about a genuine wanting to meet each other's needs consistently. It's about the emotional deposits. It's about, those kind words, those thoughtfulness. There's listening ear, sitting down, being available emotionally for a person. You're listening to what they have to say. They're pouring into you and you pouring into them. Communication, like you guys said, communication, expressing, and not just hearing, not just wanting to get your part out, but hearing what your partner is trying to say. Listen with the idea of trying to understand what they're saying before you try to get your point out. That's true communication. Then small acts of kindness have big impact on people. Like that lady said, like that one case study said, when the lady put "You're my king" on a man's windshield. Those small acts of kindness mean something. I see you, I care. I understand you, I appreciate your effort. These small acts of kindness have major impact in a person's life. Respecting the balance. I can't always be the one giving and you always the one receiving. It has to be a time when you have to give and take. It has to be an equal balance, give and take. It has to be a dance. You lead sometime, I lead sometime. It's got to be balanced, because if it's not balanced over time, someone's feelings gonna get hurt or be hurt, or someone feel like they've been used or been abused or taken advantage of. Go ahead. Somebody gonna say something? These things are
Andre.
important. These things
Andre,
are. Go ahead. Were you gonna say something, Mr. Kingdom?
Yeah, I was gonna ask Andre. You say you call them best friends. Well, that best friend you talking about hanging out with, is that a friends with benefits, or that's just a best friend that you hang with?
I'm saying, like, think about if you and the girl, y'all can just be totally transparent and be who you are without that title of relationship. Because that title of "I'm your boyfriend" or "she's your girlfriend," that kind of, I don't know, it just has a weird feeling to it, because it means you own me, I guess, or I'm supposed to be yours.
And see, that's
What
why
happened?
the modern relationships have taken a new feeling now, because people have relooked at that. Because you got to realize, look at the economy we're in right now. The economy is hard. We just came out of the pandemic. All of that stuff just came out. We just got a new president. We don't know what America is going to be. The thoughts are going on in people's heads now about just living for themselves, not so much living for a partner or for a family, living for themselves. It's so much that's going on. The comments that are in the back of your head right now, it's so much that's going on. Do you want the pressure of having someone full time that you got to be in a committed relationship? It's so much going on right now, and that's why these are some things that you have to realize. We're gonna say it's no. If there's, I'm not gonna say it's no right or wrong, but you know what you can take and you can't take. You know your boundaries. You know what self-care is all about.
Everybody don't know that, Rufus. A
Well,
lot of people don't know what they can take. They really don't.
We'll help them out.
And then another thing too, even though I keep stressing communication, a lot of us, and I'm putting emphasis on lot of us are afraid of what they call commitment and don't want to be committed. So when you put a title on it, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, best friend, or what, when you put a title on it, that's a commitment. And a lot of people runs from that.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, I got 4 questions I want to ask. Anybody can answer at any time. And these are questions you don't really have to answer. Just 4 questions I want to ask, and I'll get some kind of feedback. Can you share a small act of kindness that your partner has done for you recently? Have anybody got any thoughts of any small act of kindness that your partner, your friend, your family member, or anyone done that you really notice and you really appreciate? Have anybody got anything they want to comment on about?
Yeah, I
Well,
started. Go ahead.
my kids gifted me a trip this weekend, and they had my car cleaned up for me, so that was nice to me.
Awesome, awesome, and
That's
that's
one
what
less
I'm
thing you
talking
have to
about.
worry about.
That small acts of kindness.
Right.
That's a great example. Okay, all right, Kingdom.
Well, I know every day of my life with the one I'm with, all I got to do is just be in a conversation, or we can be walking in the mall or something. Damn, I like that. You understand? And shit, give me a couple of days. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
What's called shows up at the door.
Oh,
Amazon
that's
shows up
awesome.
at the door. You
Great
understand?
example.
And I
Great
try to
example.
do the same thing, you know. It's them little things. You say you like it. I'm learning you, and with me learning you and learning what you like, it's my job to be your spouse or your other half to help fulfill that. If you like it,
Okay.
that's part
All
of
right.
getting to know.
That's taking me to my second question. What's one way you can show love even when words aren't enough? Anybody can answer.
Action, action.
Okay. What one way can you show love even when words aren't enough? Anybody, any more examples?
A hug.
Awesome, 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 awesome. A
Sharon
hug.
says the card.
A card. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Any more examples before I move on to question number 3? All right, question number 3. What have you felt like you were giving more than you're receiving? When have you ever felt, or what have you ever felt like when you were giving more than you received? How did you handle it? When you realized you were giving a lot more than you received, how did you handle it?
I kept
Cut it
giving.
off.
All right, okay.
I cut
Gigi
it off.
said kept giving, and Gigi said cut it off, and Andre said accept the baggage at someone else. Okay, I'll
And
get
I
that.
say stop.
Okay, and the Dr. Johnson says stop. Okay. Okay, my last and final question, and I'll turn it back over to Glenda. What does balance look like in a healthy relationship? What does
Equally
balance
yoked.
look like in a healthy relationship?
Equally yoked.
Equally yoked. Okay, any more?
Common ground.
Say that again. Oh, common ground. Got it.
Being on common. Yeah.
At first, I thought you said pomegranate. I said, what? then my ears kind of caught up with it. And I said, I got it. I'm sorry.
Andre says peace of mind, and Sharon says
Peace of
happiness.
Sharon,
mind.
happiness is a broad statement. Can you explain the happiness, please?
I can help her out because here's some of my examples. When you see a couple walking hand in hand,
Happiness.
yeah,
Happiness. That word happiness.
Can I help them out? When you see a couple walking hand to hand out in public and talking and laughing together, I think that's a good sign of happiness.
Well,
That
the
is true.
reason I said happiness is broad because guess what? I take you to the bedroom. When I come out of the bedroom, I'm happy as hell, but all the other stuff is still down. So
Okay.
it's a broad statement. That's
Okay,
all
all
I'm
right,
saying.
but
But
I'm
that
just looking for
peace of
some meanings.
mind is
I'm not looking
good.
for all meanings there. I'm looking for some meanings now. Every example works here. Not all every example works.
Oh
No,
my
no,
goodness.
no. I mean, she good. She good. Everything's good. I don't mean to be
No,
like
no.
that, but
Oh, when I
Sharon, go ahead.
when I say happiness, if you happy, you show it. You show it to everybody else. When your kindness show, you shine. That's what I mean by happy.
now, see, that makes me understand what part of
Okay.
happiness you're expressing. So I'm okay with that. I agree with that answer. But just putting happiness there, it's like it's very broad. And you know what I'm saying? The people mind
Yeah,
like mine,
I,
it goes, you know,
I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Kingdom. But just
right.
being happy because you can leave in the bedroom, that don't mean she may not be happy though.
She might not, but
I'm just
somebody
saying.
have.
Hey, guys.
But see, that's what I'm saying. I'm just making a statement.
Hey guys, we got 5 minutes before we gotta go. Before we're out of time here, Glenda, let me turn back over to you, and you can gear the gears, point us towards that runway
Let me
home.
say something real quick. Let me say something. I promise you, it's real brief.
Go ahead.
I really appreciate getting on tonight because it opened everything up and it was very, very interesting.
Was.
What some unhappy like Celia and color purple? Go ahead, Trey. He got me coughing on that one, Andre. All right,
I
Glenda,
knew it was
take us
him.
home.
Okay, remember this. Love isn't proven in the big moments. It's built in the quiet, everyday gestures. The I see you text, I got you embrace, the I'm proud of you glance. True love flows back and forth like breath. You give a little to get a little. You give a little to get a little. You nurture it and it nurtures you back. Tonight, let's choose to love with open hands and open hearts. Because when you love in a way that frees both of you to be your fullest selves, that is when love truly wins. Thank you for sharing in this space with me tonight. Let's keep growing, glowing, and loving together. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next Sunday.
One final note.
Rufus,
The workshop tickets go on sale the end of the week. The workshop tickets go on sale the end of the week, and we'll send something out to everybody, or you can see it next week. We have all the details for that.
How much are they? How much is it?
The price is from $49 to $75. The $49 is general, and then they got certain levels of VIPs all the way up.
Okay.
But $49 is general admission.
Okay.
Rufus, put a star
T-shirts
beside this
included?
conversation.
Yes. What'd you say, Kingdom?
I say put a star beside this show tonight because you had a lot of participation. That's
Awesome.
why I really enjoyed it. Everybody interacted. Andre, Gigi, and Sharon, everybody interacted. I thank everybody for y'all.
You know, I looked under the hood. Next week is really an interesting one too. You got something next week. I think Annette offered next week. She gave us example for next week. Next week is a real barn burner, guys. So be on tap for next week too. All right, everybody. Thanks for that comment, Mr. Kingdom. Thanks everybody for being here. Hey, bye, Dr. Johnson. Bye, Ava. Bye, Gigi. Bye, Sharon. Bye, Ronald. Bye, Annette. That's everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.